Mike's going live.
The Central's the Thunderdome. Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche podcast, live from the Toyota Lounge, powered by your Front Range Toyota dealerships and presented by Bet365. We've got Bailey, we've got AJ, we've got Rudo coming to you live on an Avalanche off day. The Avs are 5-0-2. They sit at the top of the Central Division. Things are feeling pretty good, but I am interested in taking a look at the rest of the Central Division and where everybody stands. Now, I'm not too concerned with what the standings actually look like. It's still too early in the season to really be diving into anything like that. But we have seen enough hockey. Teams have played enough games that you can start to get a feel for each team in the Central Division.
Wait, Rudo, you mean to tell me that Dallas being in 7th?
Yeah, definitely
means nothing
not
right now?
indicative of where they're going to end up this season.
I was pretty excited.
As much as I want that to be the case, that Dallas finishes in 7th in the Central. Don't read too much into the standings other than just a list we can work off of to talk about some of these other teams. Before we do jump into the Central and its entirety, I do want to start with the Avs, though, because if you had told me the Avs were going to earn 12 out of their first 14 points, I'd be a pretty happy camper. I would not be upset with the way the season has started, and I think that's true. Even if their most recent game was maybe my least favorite of the bunch, Colorado has started as good as you can expect. No, is everything rosy and green, or are there underlying issues for you guys?
This is the start that I expected. This is the start that they hoped they would go into this season with. And I don't think, aside from two kind of flukier games, that there's much to be mad about. I'm fairly certain that they're going into Thursday feeling pretty good about where they are at so far. It's a miracle if anybody makes it this far into the season undefeated, I would say. And so to only have dropped 2 points in the stretch they've been on so far,
pretty good.
I'd say is a pretty impressive thing, not only for us as, watchers of the game, but for them actually out there on the ice earning that.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about breaking down the season into 10 game segments, and the goal is to get 12 to 14 points from those 20 point stretches, right? Mm-hmm. You're there.
Yep. With opportunity
you
for
still
more.
have 3 more to go.
Exactly. You've got 3 games left. So if you can pick up, you should definitely win the game in Boston. But you're going to be playing 2 of your next 3 games. And really, I think it's 4 of their next 5 games are teams that are at the top of the NHL with them in Carolina, New Jersey twice, and then Vegas, who is also 5-0-2.
Yeah.
So you're talking about ignoring Boston. 4 of your next 5 games are against teams with a combined 2 regulation losses. So
pretty good hockey teams rather.
Yeah. like all right, great. This is a great start, but the real test is going to be the next 2 weeks.
Yep.
I say the real test, but
I mean,
it gets a lot tougher here.
I was going to say, through the first 10 games, I feel like it is very much so experimentation. This is a lot of where they're, finding what works. And the next, 2 10-game segments, they get to put that into practice when things maybe aren't so new on the season, too. And I think that's a really important point to kind of keep in mind.
I think it's not it's also not like they've been unscathed. They're missing a top 4 defenseman. Josh Manson is not somebody that they want to be playing as a top 4 guy every single night. Not only is he that, but he's also doing it on the offside at age 33. Like it's kind of a work in progress in certain areas, and you've got a guy in Ilya Solovyov that is he's up to what, like 18, 19 NHL games of experience trying to figure that out. You've got 2 rookies now on your 4th line because Yoel Kiviranta and Logan O'Connor are out.
Yep.
You throw those guys into your lineup, and like, how different is your defensive acumen in your bottom 6 versus when you have Zakhar Bardakov and Gavin Brindley? Like, no offense to those guys, but defensively, there's still a lot of work to be done there for them. So, it's not like it's all been rosy. It's not like it's been amazing, right? Their power play is one of the worst in the league up to this point. But when you're talking about the majority of games being played at 5v5, the Avs are dominating. They've been a dominant 5v5 team, and 7 games, it's hard to... We're just going to keep saying this. There's just not very many games played, so you don't want to get too hyped or too upset about any of these processes, including the power play. But it's a lot easier to be mad about the power play because it's a continuation of what we saw so much of last season.
And I think it's funny when you think about it too, and not necessarily looking at the score sheet, but the eye test, and how everybody in that room looks at this power play and says, it's fine. We're good. Like, this is a good power play. We're creating the chances, just nothing's going in. And so through that 7-game stretch, looking at, 5 out of 7 games where they're winning that special teams battle, and the power play is still one of the worst in the league as of right now.
If the power play is this bad by game 20, I think the Avs have a big problem. But like AJ said, we're 7 games in. Special teams are streaky. I'm not reading too much into this until this streak of lack of goals really starts to stretch out. I think they'll start putting it in the back of the net soon. I didn't know we were going to end up in this room, but I do want to ask you guys. Bardakov, we've seen a couple games of him. He ends up with a secondary assist the other night. Certainly plays a style of hockey that you can appreciate on a 4th line. And I want to extend this conversation not just to Bardakov, but we see Brindley kind of take a bad penalty the other night. It cost the Avs on their penalty kill. They give up a goal. The long-term conversation seems to be one of Bardakov and Brindley is allowed to be in the lineup, but the other one maybe not once the Avs get a little bit healthier, like AJ was talking about. Is this step 1 to Bardakov earning that job over Brindley?
I would say no, because he hasn't done much yet. Like, he was fine in the first game. He wasn't any good last night against Utah. He had the assist, and that's great, but he wasn't really any good the rest of the night. He should have been called for a penalty. Just got away with it, which, given how awful the officiating was last night, bad. No surprise. But it's not been an overwhelming 2 games for him. And again, it's 2 games. He's played like a total of like 14 minutes or something in the NHL. Like, we don't need to pretend that we have a strong conclusion here, but it's not a good start.
I was going to say, that's the point I was going to bring up, is it's such a small sample size to say for sure, at least for me anyway. And that's just kind of circumstance too. Brindley's more than earned his spot, and that's who Bednar's wanted to go. He's earned his right to continue playing in games. Yes, he's got 1 bad penalty. I think that's just, what happens when you're developing on a really good team like this, and you don't have that much NHL experience.
For what it's worth, LOC sounds like it's still a couple weeks away, so it's not like this is an imminent conversation.
Yeah, you probably have about 3 weeks to go to try and figure out which of these guys you want to keep in the lineup when LOC gets healthy and he comes back, assuming there are no other injuries, which we all know. Who knows? But with Bardakov, he's going to have to lock it down in his own zone first. If he's going to try and your 4th line is a defense first line. Like, you need to protect the house first and foremost, and then what you do on the other end of the ice, great. but you build from the back and move forward when you're in a strictly checking role like that. And the Avalanche have already shown they're plenty comfortable just deciding that Parker Kelly is their fourth line center if they need him to be. If Bardakov can't get it done, by the time LOC comes back, then they're probably, if Bardakov doesn't pick it up a bit, it's not hard to imagine that they're comfortable going with Brindley and LOC on Parker Kelly's wings versus going Kelly, Bardakov, LOC. So it's really like it's not an urgent thing, but every NHL game that you play is an opportunity to prove that you deserve another one. And Gavin Brindley has a handful of games head start on Bardakov. And for the most part, it's gone pretty well. He's really only had 1 or 2 games that you don't love. But with Bardakov, for me, it's mostly over 2. Like I don't think he's been like terrible. Like the guy might be playable.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. I don't want to make too much of a conversation that is the 12th forward on your team battling for that position.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly fine with some rotation in that spot. It doesn't have to be this big deal. It is an interesting conversation, though, a couple weeks down the line when the Avs do start getting some healthy bodies back. We'll see how it plays out.
I was going to say, speaking of those healthy bodies, too, there's a Kiwi Ranta conversation to be had as well, given how he's performed through the few games that he has played so far.
Yeah. I mean, in my mind, it's pretty easy to scratch Kiwi. Obviously, he's injured right now, and we'll see when they come back. But Jared Bednar on the Avalanche has proven time and time again that they don't want to scratch that guy. So there's definitely a world where if the Avs are perfectly healthy, neither Brindley or Bardakov are in the lineup. Definitely an option. So,
which again is the unfortunate thing, given how much, especially a guy like Brindley has earned that spot, and the tenacity and the will and want to be there. It proves itself game in and game out.
Yeah, the effort is absolutely there. So we'll see how that all shakes out. For the Avs, though, overall, in a pretty good spot. Obviously, there's some injuries you don't love. They're far from playing perfect hockey, but they are the second best team in the league by points right now, points percentage right now, tied with Vegas, I guess. Pretty good. Put it to you that way. Hard to argue.
Yeah.
With what Colorado has done to start this season. You compare that to the rest of the Central, just as a whole. Where are we at on the Central Division with their start of the season? Is this classic Central Division Thunderdome, or do you think there's maybe some soft spots in the division this year?
I don't think it's great.
No.
Yeah.
It's definitely not an ideal start for teams that I maybe expected to be more tenacious through the first stretch, like Dallas, maybe like a Minnesota Wild. The Utah Mammoth, I will say,
They've started hot.
Thoroughly surprised me.
4 straight wins with that win last night.
Yeah.
Good place to be.
Fine. Like the thing that coming into the year, we felt like there were 2 really good teams in Colorado and Dallas. Like those were your studs, right? At the top there. And then there was like a big middle class that you could have a conversation about between Winnipeg, Utah, St. Louis, and Minnesota.
Yep.
And then there were the 2 bottom teams in Chicago and Nashville. And the 2 bottom teams, Nashville has been a bottom team and played like a bottom team. Chicago has been an overachieving team given the like the quality of play that they've put on the ice. They're getting away with some things, but they're like young and fun, so nobody cares, right?
Yeah.
Whatever. But they're not. I mean, they're not playing well, so it just doesn't. Frankly, it just doesn't matter. Like they will eventually fall back to where they are going to be.
Yeah.
Which is towards the bottom of the division. I do think that they are more fun so far than I expected, and it could be an actual like race between Nashville and Chicago about who's actually the bad team in the Central. But I think that my big surprise has been Minnesota being as bad as they've been process-wise, because they're a team that has long overachieved the like quality of play that they put on there, because they play really good defensive hockey, and their goal which helps their goaltenders, and their goaltenders maximize their ability. It's a very it's been a positive feedback loop for that group for a while, but Minnesota now, like right now, so far this year through their first 7 games, they suck.
Yep. Hard to argue with that. I do want to get into each of these teams individually, but we need to take our first break of the show. So let's make sure we're hitting that. What? Bailey, AJ, skiers or snowboarders?
Ski.
No answer from AJ?
No.
Okay. All right.
There you go.
I'm also a skier, but if you're a skier or a snowboarder and you're here in Colorado, I'm sure you know of Christie Sports. They've got high-quality gear, industry-leading prices, 50 locations, everywhere you love to ski and ride, and exceptional service. Experts ensure you're in the right gear for your ability and style. With seasonal rentals, you rent once and enjoy your gear all season long. You can have your gear on hand when it matters, so you can spend more time in the mountains. Book with peace of mind. Enjoy risk-free booking with free cancellation before your season rental pickup date. Ski or ride just 5 days in an adult or 3 days for kids, and your season rentals pay for themselves. Season rental perks include complimentary tuning all season, free size swaps for your gear, and more. When it comes to Christie Sports, you can get 20% off your season rentals when you book online at the link in the comments and use code DNVR20. Of course, you must book the season rentals online to get the 20% discount. Book by November 23rd. Outside is better with expert service and advice in every store with Christie Sports. And then, once you get back from the mountains, because apparently Avs games are only allowed to start at 11 a.m. or 8 p.m., you'll still have time to get tickets and get to the next Avs game with Game Time. Jump in with Game Time and join over 15 million people that get their tickets through Game Time. And when you sign up with a new account, you can use code DNVR to get $20 off your first purchase with Game Time. Of course, terms apply there. But you can find great ticket deals all over Game Time, whether it be their last-minute tickets, their section selector, or you can just search for the tickets you want, and the Game Time Picks feature will filter out the junk, only show you the best tickets for the best prices. Doesn't have to be Avs either. Pretty much any sporting event anywhere you can get into with Game Time, and even things like the concert and the theater. Tickets are there when it comes to Game Time. They even guarantee you the best price. If you find tickets cheaper somewhere else, Game Time will reimburse your account 110% of that ticket price. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today and use that DNVR code for $20 off your first purchase. Tap Ticket Go. Download the Game Time app today. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast, and we'll just go
It's
in.
fixed.
You
It's
fixed
fixed.
all the things?
It's fixed.
All right, good. We'll just go in standings order because it's an easy list to follow. So the Winnipeg Jets, obviously a great start with a record of 5-1. They always have Connor Hellebuck, who there are other goalies who have started the season better, but never count them out for the Vezina. Great regular season goalie at the very least. I know sample sizes are small, but AJ, you were talking about this in the Discord earlier today. There are some underlying numbers that are a little alarming for the Jets.
Alarming. No, they're awful. They're absolutely awful, man.
Way to put it bluntly.
Look, you're at 5v5. Their expected goals for is last in the league. It's at 34%. I know that you can always kind of shake a fist at analytics and be like, "Wow, these don't actually mean anything." But when you're getting rocked to that kind of degree, it matters. They're giving up way more scoring chances and high danger chances than they're creating. They're one of the worst generation teams in the league. They haven't been good.
Yeah.
But they're outscoring the problems because they're shooting almost 16% at 5v5, which is an astronomical number. This isn't even like the last 2 years. It's been, well, Connor Hellebuck bails them out and they score a lot on their power play. That hasn't really been the case so far. It's just been that they are scoring on all 4 scoring chances that they create in a game. It's just an insane start to the year for them, where you're like, they're not playing good hockey. They look terrible. Jonathan Taves is not good. Like Luke Shen is bad, and they've had some injury issues. No Sandberg, no Perfetti. Like, they are, to say that they're overperforming what they've actually put out on the ice is very accurate, because they should be one of the bottom tier teams in the league right now. Like, if their process does not get better, this is going to be a real bumpy ride for them, because it has been a horrible process, and the results are kind of papering over them.
I was going to point out that Connor Hellebuck is currently ranked 5th among all goaltenders in the league.
Pretty good.
Currently. Save percentage of .927. It's
no Scott Wedgwood, but he's pretty good.
That's also through 5 starts, and when Wedgie's playing the way that he is, I'm kind of in the same boat with Winnipeg. I don't know if I'd get into like fraud territory, because they do have dangerous players who can activate on a whim, but outscoring your problems is not sustainable for the entirety of the season. And if that's the trajectory that they're on, I'm fully preparing myself to see some sort of fall from grace for this team.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, Winnipeg is a team of weird streakiness over the last couple of years. They went, 36 games in a row last year without giving up more than 2 goals, just because Connor Hellebuck decided he didn't want to give up more than 2. So
said, my net, no touch.
Yeah, they've done some weird streakiness, and they've been one of those weird teams over the last couple of years. But the dam has to break at some point, right?
It's worse than what we're saying, though. It's way worse than what we're saying, because this is their first 2 games are against Dallas and LA.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, and they lose to Dallas in a game they were getting blown out in until the very, very end.
A bunch of garbage time.
They scored
goals,
twice.
Yeah.
They scored 2. They scored 2 shorthanded goals on the same power play that made that game a lot more interesting than it actually was. They were getting rocked on opening night, and it got interesting at the very, very end. Not for very long. But other than this, look at this murderer's row of a schedule. We're talking about their process not being any good. Their last 4 wins have come the Islanders, the Flyers, the Preds, and the Flames. The Flames, by the way, who are 1-6.
Yeah, worse than the NHL.
Their process has been bad against bad teams. It's not even like they played Colorado and Vegas and Carolina. Like, it's not like they've been okay. Well, hey, they're playing it. They've got some injury issues, and they're playing against some really good. They're playing garbage against garbage teams, and they're able to just out-talent them because their top-line rules, and they're finishing, like, their actual goal scoring, their finishing ability has been astronomical to this point against bad teams.
And that's where you start asking the question, too, of, like, again, you're playing this bad against these bad teams. And there's still like the will to win coming from somewhere. When does that stop? Like, once you run into some gauntlet teams, does that still work?
It's not even like it gets better. Their schedule is Seattle, Calgary, Utah, Minnesota, and Chicago.
Must be nice. I mean, the Avs schedule's been easy too. I can't complain. But
they're going to be leading the Central Division at the end of the month, and it's like they've played 2 good teams in that time. I'm mad about this. It's been 2 full regular seasons of these clowns getting away with being bad. I'm so annoyed by this. Connor Hellebuck isn't even like the savior of this group right now. They're playing terribly against bad teams. They're just nonsensing their way through it. It is anathema to everything that we know about how teams win in the NHL on a consistent basis. They have not been very good process teams the last 2 years, but Connor Hellebuck went Super Saiyan, so it was fine. Then they get to the postseason and they get smoked because they're not that good. I don't want to have to wait until April for that to happen. Damn it, I want it now. I want this course correction to happen.
Me too, buddy. Me too.
Yeah. I think we can all agree on that.
Their schedule still is easy. You get into November and they get Pittsburgh, LA, San Jose, Anaheim, Vancouver, Seattle, Calgary.
Well,
again, what does 2026 look like for them then?
The rest of their schedule must be like murderously bad if it's that easy to
all
start.
Of their bad games are they're gonna bank all these points, and then they're gonna be a 400 hockey team for the rest of the season, and everybody's gonna go, oh well, I wonder what happened.
They drop like 5-10 places in the standings, and it's
real
like
teams.
Huh?
Let's move on to Utah here. I know we talked about them a little bit already. Obviously, the Avs just played them the other night. They've split with the Avs. Technically, I guess the Avs have the advantage because they won in regulation, whereas Utah won in overtime. A team that we all had on the bubble coming into this season. Mm-hmm. Do we still see a bubble team here, or is the likes of Dylan Genther pushing them in the right direction enough to where you feel like they should really contend for playoffs?
They're going to be a dangerous team, I think, for me. What's going to be really telling for me is what happens after these first 20 games, if they're still in the spot that they're at. We talk a lot about effort and tenacity and things of that sort, and Utah's kind of proven that now that they have a name, they have an identity, and they're trying to play to that and find that. And I think if that's something that they can hold on to 40, 50, 60 games in, that absolutely makes them some sort of contender in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, they're solid. Their top guys are really, really good. Their top six is really good. It'd be better if Barrett Hayton wasn't just kind of a blob.
Yeah.
Second line center, but like Barrett Hayton is your worst player in your top six, and the top five are all guys that would be top sixes on any team they played on. Like this isn't like one line is doing it right, and then they have a top pairing. It's so strange to watch Simashev be as like solid and steady as he has been in the NHL, because we watched him all preseason.
Awful in preseason, yeah.
He was so bad, and like he was playing for something, right? But Simashev he's been fine, and apparently he's roommates with Mikhail Sergachev, who owns chickens, as I learned last night, was we did a deep dive on the entire Utah franchise.
The entire state of Utah at some point.
Yeah, I mean, we even just deets on the airport, like they really went in on it. It was crazy. But Utah is a team, like they're solid. That's a good defensive team. They play like a steady, reliable defensive structure. They have a solid head coach. Their power play isn't very good. They don't have a lot of finishing talent. After their top six, their talent drop off is
aggressive,
significant.
Yeah,
which is why I don't love their long-term outlook this year more than like St. Louis's, because I really like that St. Louis lineup. But Utah's defense and goaltender are both like right there. It's playoff caliber. Like it's right in that. I think they will be competitive from anywhere from third in the Central Division to sixth, but pushing for a wild card spot. Mm-hmm. And because I think all those teams are right in that same like cluster. Although I was not a believer in Minnesota, and they've not made a believer out of me yet.
Yeah.
So it might be more like 3, 4, and 5 are the slots that I think that are going to be the most competitive in the Central this year. I'm happy to write Minnesota off. I cannot stand that.
I think the biggest thing for me is like looking at the depth. Like you mentioned, like the hefty top six talent. You mentioned having a really good first pair. I thought that third line looked really good last night for them. At least one of the better ones. I mean, they get on the board, and that we were kind of talking about that streakiness of that bottom six, and that's going to be, I think, their defining point is can they get them to activate in a way that makes them a third place team?
Yeah, I don't know that I'm a believer, but
losing McBain hurt them last night because he's a good, solid pivot. That is a good bridge. Like Kevin Stenlund is a fine fourth line center, but he's a hard fourth line center.
Yeah,
very limited offensively, but he's big. He wins faceoffs. Like he does his role at a high level. Tanev and O'Brien are both bad at this point. Tanev, has had a really good career, but he's been a really ineffective player the last couple of seasons. And Liam O'Brien, I don't understand how he's still in the NHL. He's awful. But I mean, he like hits people and like
he's their Curtis
got snarl
McDermott.
to his
Like,
game.
that's all.
Yeah, like, he's like their lovable warrior. So I guess I understand that element of it, especially when they don't have anybody. Like when Alex Kerfoot is healthy, I expect he's probably the guy that you pull from that lineup, I think.
Sure.
Or Carcone. Carcone is another guy where it's like I liked Michael Carcone in the offseason as like for $1 million, but he's on their third line right now, and that's anyway, their bottom six. I just don't like it very much. It's such a steep drop off, although Lawson Krause is kind of cool. Their defense has the exact same problem. Like they are in the same boat where what they have at the top of that defense is really good and competitive and can play at a high level. But once you get past Sergachev and I guess Simashev and Marino, you're in bad territory.
Yeah.
If they had Jersey, I would feel way better. But with him hurt again, constantly battling injuries is Sean Dursey, because when he's healthy, he's really good. But the bottom of that defense, I mean, Ian Cole and Ole Mata, that's not, it's not Cody Ceci, Brian Dumoulin territory, but it's not good.
Sure.
Yeah. I will say I've never been an Ian Cole stanner.
Yeah. He's also old and bad now.
Yeah. No, but even when he was, like moderately aged and somewhat, I don't know, moving around the league. I don't know what to call that.
Moderately aged. I'm gonna start referring to myself as moderately aged.
No, just even like being a younger version of himself, I still wasn't the biggest fan. He's too defensively undisciplined.
Sure. We do need to take our second break of the show, so let's go over and hit that with our presenting sponsor of Bet365. They're also an official partner of the Colorado Avalanche. So go get your bets in when you sign up today with Bet365's app and use code DNVR365 with a new account. Put $10 in, bet $5 in anything. Win or lose that bet, you get $200 in bonus bets. So you don't even need to get the bet right. And then you got a bunch of free money to play with on Bet365. They even have early payout offers. If you put a bet down on an NHL game and the team you pick to win gets up by 3 goals, you get paid out immediately. So even if they blow it from that point, your bet still hits. You can jump in with Bet365 today. Again, use that QR code on screen to download the app. Use that DNVR365 code to get $200 in bonus bets when you place a $5 bet, win or lose. Of course, when you do gamble with Bet365, you must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER today. And then also make sure you're hitting up Rocky Mountain Cancer Centers. You got to get with them. Look, it's important to go get checked for cancer. My mom battled cancer 3 times. She beat it twice. So I've been on that road a few times myself with it. So really cool. Rocky Mountain Cancer Centers are great at what they do. Super loyal to the people they work with, and a great place to just go check out because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. DNVR and Rocky Mountain Cancer Centers are proud to support Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Most of you know someone who's faced it, and it hits closer to home than we'd like to admit. The good news is it's highly treatable when caught early. So make sure if you are a lady and you're 40 or older, go get your screening scheduled. And if you're a fella, check in with the women in your life that you care about and make sure they're getting checked. A simple nudge can make all the difference. Rocky Mountain Cancer Center is the official sponsor of Denver sports fans. Head to RockyMountainCancerCenters.com to learn more. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. Let's move on to Chicago, who currently sits 4th place in the division. AJ, you talked about it earlier. I don't think any of us really believe Chicago's in a contention for a playoff spot this year, but been a fun start. Frank Nazar looks really good. Connor Bedard looks like it's a solid start to the year for him. Spencer Knight has been great in net to start off for them. Is this enough of a start to believe that Chicago might not be in the basement, not be San Jose levels at least?
No. not this year, but I think you're seeing that a lot of the building blocks are starting to at least come of enough of an age. I wouldn't say moderately aged. They're still baby age.
I'm never getting over that, am I?
But it's such a polite way to put it. I'm just going to start referring to all kinds of things as moderately aged.
Sounds like fine wine at this point.
Exactly. Like, going out for a fancy dinner, like I would like a moderately aged rosé, please. Thank you. Anyway,
My leftovers are moderately aged.
I'm gonna let this go. I'm gonna move right past this.
Crying.
No, I like they're talented young guys are driving the bus right now, and I think that's what you really wanted to see. You don't want it to be like, oh, they're kind of fun because Ilya Mikheyev and Jason Dickinson are really doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. You're like, neat. Like this is not what you want to see. Like the young ones are the ones that are, and Spencer Knight being the real like driver of this. Spencer Knight looks awesome.
Yep.
He's been fantastic to start this season. If he can, he's gonna have to keep up a really high level of play because that guy's under siege a lot.
Yeah, the defense is bad still.
Yeah, and the defense is bad because it's a lot of kids that are still out there trying to do it. And like your two veterans on that defense are Connor Murphy and Matt Grzelcyk. Matt Grzelcyk's not much of a defender. He's competitive, but he's never been like a high level defender. Connor Murphy rules. He's
both of which I'm pretty sure are playing on the third pair, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Alex Vlasic is like a sneaky top pairing guy that has been kind of on the Olympic radar for good reason. He's really, really good. But the rest of that defense is like, there's, Sam Renzel, I think is he might be my favorite young defender in the league.
He falls into the fun category for sure.
Oh yeah, he is. He's a lot of fun. But like the thing about being like a young and fun team is that when you're bad, it's still kind of charming.
Sure.
When the Abs have bad nights, we're all just mad about it because we're like, you know better. How dare you do this? Like it's like disappointed parent talk. But
it's easy to do with a Nathan McKinnon type.
Literally me in overtime last game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, oh my god, man.
Mad Kinnon.
We're gonna leave this in the past. But like Chicago is like a delight, right? Like they're fun. They're outproducing the actual on ice quality of play. But as long as it's just getting to be competitive night in and night out is a huge step forward for that franchise because they haven't been.
Yeah. 60
games a year the last couple of years. They're getting blown off the ice. They're terrible.
Yeah.
For them to look like, all right, are they outperforming some of the on ice results at the moment? Yeah. Like they're outscoring their problems a little bit. Spencer Knight's having to do a lot of heavy. Okay. But the fact that it's their youth driving the bus is really encouraging for them.
Comes down to, again, how sustainable is that through the next 10, 20 games, and when does that fall off start to happen?
Tomorrow, probably. That's where I'm at with Chicago.
The sooner it can happen, the sooner we can get back to the rest of our lives with the maybe more competitive teams.
Yeah, they don't have like this weird regular season witchcraft mastered like the Jets do. So, like they haven't figured it out yet, but like, yeah, that's a team. They're shooting 12%. Like their 5v5 save percentage is really high. Like you're talking about a team that has not been very good, but has had really solid results. They are an any day now kind of team, and with the Jets, I'm just like, it's never going to happen. This is going to be the reason I have a stroke.
The fall from grace in March is going to be heavy. Anyway,
I'm going to be all about it.
We'll keep rolling. The Blues, a team I wasn't a big believer in to start the season. AJ believed them in the offseason. They've been fairly mediocre for their season start. I don't really know super what to make of them, to be honest, through the early portion of this season. I will say it seems like Jordan Binnington has been a little all over the place this year, although I guess Joel Holfer got 8 late on him too. So I have some questions about their goaltending, but Binnington has always been kind of a streaky guy, so I don't know.
Their process is good. Their goalies aren't. They're good. That's the short of it with the Blues.
And talking about expectations for teams heading into this season, this was a team I was kind of wishy-washy on just because they've I mean, they have some high-end talent, but in looking at the roster as a whole, the guy who's going to steal the most games for you is always going to be Binnington. It's at least on a good night. And that's kind of where my thoughts on this team end. You've got a great first line, got an okay second line. I will say I do like Jimmy Snuggerud, or Snuggerud, and how his expectations for the season. But other than that, this isn't a team I'm buying on super heavily.
Yeah. I think I would have them still. Yeah, I'm comfortable with that 3 to 5th or 6th place that AJ has talked about, that is just battling in the middle class of the Central. Mm-hmm. And certainly there are other teams that have been worse than them to start the season. Cough, Minnesota, who we're about to talk about. Cough. But I don't know that I don't know that St. Louis can actually put it all together this year. That's the question that I have. And I am curious how the Monty situation plays out this year, because he's a really good coach, super well respected around the league. Obviously, you got the great new coach bump with him last year. What does it look like in St. Louis with a full year of Monty?
I think their process is going to be really solid as long as they keep Logan Mailloux off the ice.
I don't have an argument there.
No.
So maybe not a ton to talk about.
This isn't like a personality thing or a, he shouldn't be in the league thing. He's been horrific.
Yeah, just
for
bad.
Them. Yeah, like horrific defensively. And his offense needs to be Cale Makar level to make up for the quality of defense that he's putting out on the ice. That's a big problem for them. They invested a lot for them to go and get like a quality puck mover to be on their third pairing, and Mailloux is a nightmare so far.
Yeah, Zach Bolduc's playing pretty good on the other side of that trade, but
that's because he is pretty good. We knew that last year. He was pretty good. Yeah. Dumb trade. Love that they made it.
Minnesota, then. Are they the team that you have earmarked for collapse, or is this a team that can improve from, as you mentioned, not the best start?
I think their injury issues really give them a big asterisk in this so far. Like, not having Matt Zuccarello really hurts. I think not even having like a Nico Sturm really hurts. But their defense might just be washed at this point.
Was always on the table with that aging curve.
Yep.
Yeah. I am trying not to form too many opinions on them so far, just because on paper, I think they are a team who can be really competitive, especially towards the end of the season. But with that said, they're going to need a lot more out of their guys, and having that not activate as early really, really hurts.
Yeah. Look, I'm first in line to see Minnesota fail. I'm all the way down, same as AJ. I'm good for it. So
Minnesota on the doom train.
Yeah, if they want to collapse,
I hope so.
I'm happy. I'm happy to take that and enjoy every second of it. But let's get to the interesting conversation here. A lot of these teams in the middle are somewhere in the realm of where we expect them to be.
Yeah.
Dallas. They did manage to beat the Avs. They started the season pretty hot, and then they've dropped their last 3 to be 3-3 on the season. A negative goal differential. As a team that we expected to be at the top of the Central, and I think most of us probably still expect them to be towards the top of the Central when it's all said and done. Is there some concern in Dallas, or is this just a bit of a stark contract because the Avs have started so well?
I think there's a small concern here because they're having a little bit of trouble scoring the last couple of games, And I think like they paid twice for Mikko Rantanen, one in trade and two in contract.
Yep.
To ensure that when they have an offensive lull, they have a guy that won't do that. That will pull them out of it.
That won't be Mikko Rantanen.
Well, you know what I mean. Like,
like
when they inevitably like start to struggle here and there, and Mikko's not bad or anything, but it's like 1 point per game, like rolling along with like a point per game. Not he's got a 3-point night and then two nights in a row he doesn't score. He's producing just the one, which is if an NHL team can just lock in and say we got one goal every single night from a guy from a line that he's on, that's a really good start to winning, right?
Yeah.
That's a great start. But they paid $12 million for this guy to do a little bit more than that. He needs to do a little bit more than that. I think it's a bit of a concern so far that they don't have the depth that they used to. Mm-hmm. Like they are not 9 deep where you're like, these guys are all scoring 40 points this year.
Right.
That's not the conversation that we're having. It's like it's been pretty spread out for them at the very top, which it should be. They've got a handful of really good players, but Mikko needed to be like an elite guy. Yeah. And right now he's just one of the good ones. And so I think there's a concern there. Not huge, but like a concern. The other part of this is that if Jake Ottinger's not playing against the Avalanche, how good actually has he been?
Yeah, not that amazing for sure.
It hasn't been great so far, and Casey DeSmith only has the one start, and he got smoked.
Yeah.
So, it's defensively was one of our biggest concerns about them, and I think that remains true today.
Yeah. Mikko Rantanen, for a guy who just got a pretty nicely sized paycheck, is somebody you expect more out of.
You mean not moderately sized?
Not moderately sized. I was waiting for it. No, but a guy who like got a hefty pay raise and is only producing a point per game is where my kind of radar starts to go off a little bit, where like you went all in on this guy expecting him to be the guy.
He's being significantly outproduced by Marty Necas and Nathan McKinnon. Yeah. And I know the Dallas beat the Avs directly. Mikko scored the shootout winner for that game, but Mikko Rantanen got paid to be better than Marty Necas.
Yes.
And everyone loves to have the playoff conversation. Yes, Mikko objectively has been a better player in his career in the playoffs and in the regular season. But right now, today, this second, who's the better player this season? It's been Necas.
It's not Mikko.
And
it has not been close, by the way. Rantanen has been horrible defensively.
Yep.
Well, I mean, just looking at the couple games that I have been able to catch, he's invisible in most cases.
The Mikko special.
Yeah, like there's not many cases where I'm looking at the ice and Mikko is outperforming everybody out there and just not showing up. Like that's not the case. Like he is invisible and he's like there's nowhere on the scoreboard where I'm like, okay, that makes up for it.
Yep.
Yeah. Mikko's an interesting one because he's not driving any play. He's not making a really big difference away from the puck. When he gets the puck, he lights up. You see all the special talent and you go, oh my God, this guy is unbelievable. All that is still in there. But away from the puck, you're seeing arguably the worst version of him since his rookie season in the NHL.
And that, to me, starts to come down to, is this just the classic first year of a hefty contract slump that players tend to go through?
I mean, if point per game is a slump, I'm afraid of what's coming. But
right.
But again, that's
we're talking about this like 7 points in 7 games or 7 points in 6 games. Like, what a bum point per game player. It's a classic Mikko.
Yeah. So I don't know. The expectation, I think, is higher.
Yeah, I think
for a guy like that. But also, again, looking at Dallas only having scored 2 goals in their last 2 games, it's not fantastic.
We we talk about the Avs in Winnipeg taking care of business against maybe weaker teams, and Dallas is out here losing games to Columbus. So
Yeah.
badly,
Who the
by the
Avalanche
way.
had a
I mean-
very nice game against, I thought.
Yeah, like got embarrassed on home ice by Columbus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like they, it's like a 3-1, like, these bounce here, bounce there. No, dominated. Like Columbus smoked, outshot them like 14-5, had a 2-0 lead after the first period. Dallas had a much better second period, and then the third period started, and the Blue Jackets were like, nah, we're better. That should be a concern for the Stars. And we all look at their roster and say, this is a really good team. It's a deep team. It's a talented team. Not as deep as in recent years, but they are really good, right? They're going to be really competitive. I don't know that we have given enough credence to the idea that Glenn Gulutzin has never been a good quality NHL head coach.
It's true.
And they're going from Pete DeBoer, who is a very good head coach, but to a guy that has no history of being good in the league. And you are wondering, is this just like new system? Like a team that's just like adjusting, they're still trying to find their way a little bit? Is it just small sample size where there's still solid underlying numbers here, but it's not great? Like what all is it? Because right now it feels like there's 5, 6, 7 things that you could point to and you say, I'm a little bit nervous about this right now. And that makes me wonder.
Yeah.
I am just dying for a reason not to believe in these guys.
Just to answer the Toyota chat, if you go watch any watch along from the last 3 years, you'll see our criticisms of Mikko are pretty consistent. It's the same. It's
The one thing that has not changed.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I used to complain about him every night. Every night. He'd have a 110-point season, and I was mad. 70 of those nights, I was mad.
I feel like that's easy when he plays next to a guy like Nathan McKinnon. You're like the guy with the stick poking something at the ground, like, do more.
Nashville's just bad, right? We don't need to say a whole lot about them.
I have nothing.
Just bad.
I disagree, sort of.
Okay.
I think defensively, you look at their defense and you're like, that's not a very good defense. And they haven't been good defensively, and they don't have very good defensive forwards. They don't do a good job taking care of their own zone. Offensively, they're fun. This is what I thought Andrew Brunette was going to be.
Sure.
He coaches a good, like, up-tempo style that produces a lot of good scoring chances, and they've got quality forwards. They've got guys that can pot some goals and actually get up and down the ice a little bit. And they're skilled and they're creative. There's something there offensively. Defensively, they are really bad. And I think that's a really, like, big concern, is that there's no, unlike with Chicago, it's not a really young defense that you're like, oh, look at this guy. I don't know, this guy could be part of the field. Like,
It's also a forward core
One
that's
or
a
two.
billion years old at the top. Yeah.
Currently,
they are
yes.
moderately aged at forward. And you're really, I just don't know where this organization is going, but that's not the problem. It's not our conversation right now. It's just, they've been fun offensively. So if you want to go in on some of their guys for fantasy purposes, that's great. But no, they're not good. They're not going to be good enough to factor into the division, in my opinion.
No.
Yeah. I don't think so. But hey, at least they're not shooting 2% or whatever they did for the first 3 months that they did last year. So
That was tough to watch.
it's just bad.
But in all fairness, the Avalanche weren't exactly easier to watch
not
either.
wrong for the first 2 months.
Are you kidding? Tiff being mean, calling them Trashville. Oh my God.
We do have some Avs games coming up, and I do want to shout out the DNVR bar for the doubleheader this weekend. 2 matinee games. On Sunday, we're doing a watch party. You can come by. You can get bottomless mimosas from 11 a.m., which is puck drop, all the way through 2 p.m. A bunch of great brunch deals. You want to get out here. Enjoy these games. They are away games for the 2 back-to-backs. So you got nowhere better to be. Come hang out at the DNVR bar. Come say hi. I'll be here watching the game. Say what's up. And you can have a great time at the bar.
Yeah.
Come show up. Come do that.
If the game's not much of a draw, the mimosas should be.
Let's go. You can never go wrong with mimosas. If it goes south, they're bottomless. So keep
There you go.
drinking. On that note, the Avs do face Carolina tomorrow. They are one of the teams towards the top of the league for the start of their season. However, their defense has been a bit battered. Slavin's still out, and then Shane Gostisbehere also goes down for them. Are the Avs catching a break here? Are they catching a vulnerable Carolina team, or is this going to be a war tomorrow?
This is a team that I am never count them out.
Yeah.
They have a very, very strong next man up mentality, which makes them, when they are battered and bruised like this, still very, very hard to play with. This is the team that treasures a lot of their depth. And that's some of what you've got to watch out for. On the other hand, though, too, Seth Jarvis and Sebastian Aho are looking incredible with Nikolai Ehlers, who has not really started to get going yet. Feeding them the way that he is, that's the part that I'm looking out for the most. Their goaltending's kind of meh in most cases, but I think with the next man up mentality they've had, playing as dangerously as they have, even with the defensive, like the physical defensive lapses that they are currently dealing with, it's still a dangerous team. It's not a team that you want to count out. It's a team that the Avalanche should definitely be able to take advantage of with their speed, though, I will say.
Yeah, no Jacob Slavin to try and slow down Nathan MacKinnon. And the way that Slavin defends, he's so good with the stick. He's got such great reach, causes problems because McKinnon's speed, he gets inside guys really easily. And phrasing, I know. But he gets inside that reach, and that is where he discombobulates defenders, right? But with Slavin, he's so good at being able to use his size and his stick to keep guys to the outside that it's not a good thing for Carolina to lose him for this game in particular. But I mean, Carolina's roster rocks. They're really, really good.
They're a team that I think
you have to take advantage. But I mean, God.
Absolutely. They're a team that is really, really strange to me when it comes to their roster and looking at it. And you look at it, and this team should not be as good as it is.
And yet,
you look at the past couple years underneath Rod Brindamore, and this team is blown up in the best way possible, at least for them. And that's something the Avalanche should not discount, because a lot of teams do.
yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to discount a team that's made multiple conference finals now, and Carolina is established, especially in an Eastern Conference that feels weird.
It's not the Eastern Conference of a couple years ago.
Right. Even last year, I would say you felt like the Eastern Conference was loaded with juggernauts, but the injuries Florida's dealing with, whatever is happening in Toronto to start this season,
happening in New York,
the Rangers, are collapsing. It does feel
Tampa
like
Bay has one win in 6 games.
Yeah, and everyone, and myself included, was picking them towards the top. Like, it does feel a little bit like the path is wide open for Carolina to cruise to the top of the East, but they're in some ways a similar spot to the Avs, where they have to go do it in the playoffs.
Yep.
Avs, you'd like to get out of the first round. Carolina's trying to make a finals. A little bit different, but
Yeah. Yeah, different conversations.
none of that matters for Game 8 of the season, though, right? It's not the first real quality team. Obviously, they played and lost to Dallas already this year, and they've played some teams that we feel are good to decent to good, but you really have an opportunity for Colorado to potentially notch a big win against the top team in the league tomorrow, even if there are injury asterisks involved in that. And it's not like the Avs are a perfectly healthy team either. So
It's just the difference is,
Yeah, I mean, right.
they're dealing with some injury, their depth
yeah,
versus a Carolina who's missing
top
their best
guys, yeah,
defenseman. So
for sure. All right. I guess we are winding down the show here anyway. I mean, is Tampa Bay the retirement home, or is I feel like Nashville's the retirement home more than Tampa Bay, but
timeshares are pretty nice down there, I've heard.
yeah, it's true. I'm sure it's a great town to live in. we are winding down here. Any final thoughts on the Central Division? As I think we all expect Dallas will bounce back and be a competent hockey team in the Central, but do you think we'll see any of these teams surprise?
I'm not expecting much of a surprise in any case. That 3 through 5.
Yeah.
Even maybe 3 through 6 is what I'm kind of keeping my eye on heading into deeper in the season and how that all shakes out. That situation's going to be a gauntlet, I think, for sure.
Would be nice for the Avs to just stay above that, for sure. Mm-hmm.
I think the Avalanche are capable
Yeah,
of
I mean,
that too, so.
Yeah.
I'm hating on Minnesota, but they only have 2 home games so far. And, like,
Yeah.
you know, they'll win games. They'll be competitive. They're never an easy out, and you know, this keeps them out of the Gavin McKenna conversation. So, all right, that's good.
Can live with that. We are gonna call it for today. We appreciate everyone hanging out on an off day. Back tomorrow for game day, so make sure you tune in there. Also, go read Bailey's piece. Go read AJ's pieces. They're all up on the DNVR.com. A bunch of awesome stuff. Always got the coverage for you when it comes to game days. That's it. Yeah, we're done. Appreciate y'all. This has been the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by Bet365, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Y'all